lots of work to be done. I mean, the most basic of basic was the Clark try, wasn't it? Where he went from dummy half from about 3 meters out. That was terrible.
Yeah, I don't. I would like to be positive, but I can't be. I can't. Honestly, genuinely, like last week after Salford won their second match, my first instinct was, oh, that's Salford safe then. And that's a depressing thought, but I'll be surprised if Toulouse win a couple of matches this year. I really will.
Yeah, unless see what happens with recruitment and stuff. But yeah, at the moment it doesn't look positive.
But who genuinely who's available? You know, I mean, again, not I don't want to downplay Ollie, but you know, that's the kind of player that's available. We're not talking about world beaters that are coming into this side. No. I wouldn't have thought.
No.
So I wouldn't expect them to be much better than they are now, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and it is unfortunate.
Yeah, for certain. Note again for Josh Charnley, he's gone past 200 Super League tries now. He's into third place in the Super League top try scorers charts. And there's a couple of news stories to cover. One of them we've already talked about a bit. So Toulouse Olympique have signed 24-year-old fullback Ollie Ashall-Bott from Huddersfield Giants for an undisclosed fee, reported to be 5 figures. He signed a deal until the end of 2024, but Huddersfield have an option for him to return if things in France don't work out. Code from that is if they get relegated, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
I would think so. Some views on this one. Brian Davies says, I reserve judgment, but getting Tony G back in the halves seems like a good move. He's on a 3-year deal, he's young and has played in Toulouse, so that all bodes well.
Yeah, Neil McEwen said, strange signing. Toulouse need better calibre than Ashall-Bott. He gave up Huddersfield to play Championship next season.
Potentially. And Tom Andrews says, good signing until he inevitably shatters into 50 pieces the first time he gets tackled.
Based on the highlights from this game, no one's getting close enough to tackle him.
Well, you see, that's the answer. Just keep those clean breaks coming and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and Warrington centre Conor Wrench will be out for up to 5 weeks with a stress fracture in the back. So that's a shame for the young kid, but good timing in a way for Warrington that Toby King's back into things, isn't he?
Not a bad player to come in, no. You would say.
Do you want to take us through the standings?
Yep, so almost inevitably Saints are top of the table, but Wigan and Warrington join them on top with a 100% record. Huddersfield, Hull FC, Salford and Catalan have 4 points. Hull KR got off the mark with their first win this week to put them in 8th. Wakefield, Leeds, Castleford and Toulouse are all still without a point.
Stat line of the week is the Ben Garcia both ways. I think 51 tackles, 13 marker tackles and 110 metres. Some people might be saying, what about 6 try assists? Well, Jake Connor's the player of the week.
Well, I don't remember ever seeing 6 try assists, so that's my stat line of the week. I'm probably going to make him my player of the week as well. Why not?
He is. 7 try involvements in the game, you know. It shows how key and significant he is to this side when he's available. Jake Connor's undoubtedly the player of the week. And also the talk then goes into the England selection. I mean, still not having done enough, maybe because it's only a couple of days after him having that strong performance. To get his way back in to England reckoning. So if I was Jake Connor, I'd be doing everything I can to show Sean Wayne that I've got my head screwed on a bit safer. I'd be, you know, talking to him as much as possible. I'd be sending him as much as possible of clips where I've not lost my head when someone's tried to wind me up, like with Mark Sneyd this weekend, for example. That, as much as the 6 try assists, like not kicking off back at Sneyd, is as much going to get him in that England squad as the 6 try assists are.
Yeah, Sean Wayne. People say a lot about him, but he's not stupid. He knows the quality that Connor's got, and if he's playing well and he's keeping his nose clean, then he'll be in that final 24. I would say. I'd be surprised if he's not.
Yep. Well, Jake Connor certainly helped me out because he got me to 5 out of 6 in the predictions versus David's 4 out of 6. It was his presence in the Hull side that made me go for them. Not by as much as they won by, but go for them still. In the host Super Brew, Scoots wears the yellow cap. She's moved into second behind me, but ahead of David and Alan. In the main Super Brew, John McNelly wears the yellow cap. David Hunter, though, has moved to the top of the table, so he's not second-guessing the hypotheticals at the moment. He's getting it all right. In the Fantasy League, Simon Andrew Arthur's Barmy Army stays top of the table, but Andrew Curry's Anglesey Warriors had the top weekly score with 698. So well done to all of those people deserving their shout-outs this week, and thanks to everyone who got in fan views on the Google Forms for the week's games and news. Show wouldn't be the show without your fan views, so thanks for all of those. Okay, we're going to move on now and look at Challenge Cup in the other results. Other results then, and for now we've only really got the Challenge Cup to talk about. It was round 4 at the weekend. It was when the championship clubs entered, and I think, Alan, it's fair to say any kind of hopes of upsets were dashed by the last 20 minutes or so of the Sheffield Hunslet Club Parkside game, but elsewhere there was no sniff of an upset, was there?
No, not really. Although you have to say the first win, a good one. It finished North Wales 30, Hunslet 8. I was reading on the report, it was the first match in the Wirral for like 100 years or something.
Yeah, that's years. Right. I guess because it's Challenge Cup and late fixture announcements and that sort of thing meant Zipwheel wasn't available for North Wales, but got a talking point, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And I was like, well, where did they get that stat from? And I looked it up, and I did manage to find on Rugby League Record Keepers Club when the game was. In 1904, I managed to find the game. So
excellent. Well, that's a nice tease for people that come April, the Rugby League Record Keepers Club website, the stats will be freely available to the public and not just available for the members and subscribers who've helped pay for the hosting and the work that the guys have done behind the scenes to get to this stage. So that's really good news for everyone.
Yep, so there you go.
I'm sure we'll get plenty of contact from Neil telling us what we need to tell people over the next few weeks about that.
I'd be very disappointed if we didn't. Yeah. It finished Batley 66, the Royal Navy 6. Absolutely no sniff of an upset there.
No, I'm sure the BBC are disappointed with their choice.
Absolutely. It was Doncaster 0, Whitehaven 60. Again, massive.
Yeah,
massive.
I thought that was a chance for an upset. Clearly fucking not.
No chance. Hunslet Club Parkside 20, Sheffield 40. Although that doesn't tell the story of the game, does it? It was very close right to the end.
That's right, yeah. That was the one at half-time that you felt there was a chance, but not to be, sadly.
Ultimately not to be.
For Parkside.
It was Workington Town 26, Dewsbury 12, Halifax 16, Featherstone 29, London Broncos 8, Bradford 34.
Leighton Rhino said, I went to Plough Lane on Sunday hoping for at least some improvement or cheering up after the Leeds game, but Broncos were utter dog shit. New stadium, better ticketing, better media, but a relegation fodder squad. My two teams are now 0-3 and 0-5 for the season. Bullshit.
It's the hope that kills you. It was Rochdale 12, Barrow 38. Good win for Barrow again. York 42, Newcastle 13. Obviously, this was on the Sportsman. I've only seen the highlights of it. Close first half, but York were clearly dominant in the second.
Yeah, Craig Mullen showed up in the first 20 minutes, but not much for Newcastle after that, was there?
No, that cheeky drop goal just before half-time didn't prove crucial. And on Monday night, again, it has to be said, ultimately disappointing in terms of a contest. Leigh 38, Widnes 4. Unfortunately, all over in the first 15 minutes, this one. Widnes couldn't get any field position. They were kind of hammered by Leigh, and I think it was 16-0 after 15 minutes, and it didn't get much better, unfortunately.
And they missed a few kicks, didn't they, as well? I mean, probably got to a point where if Widnes had scored first in the second half, we could have been arguing ourselves into something that might happen, but
Yeah, well,
nah.
I've got to bless the commentary team. They were trying. They were really trying, but Lee were all over them. I think winners are going to be disappointed ultimately with the performance, but maybe the Monday night thing, I don't know. Maybe that had a part of it, but yeah, they were
They've
comprehensively
gone on a
beaten.
third Monday night in a row next week, so we'll have to get used to it.
Yeah, this fixture planning isn't great, I would argue. But yes, after the game, there was the round 5 draw of the Challenge Cup. These games are going to be played over the weekend of the 12th and 13th of March. So this is before Super League clubs join the fold.
And one game will be on the 14th, I guess, will it, with the Premier Sports?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to pick the games.
Nope.
But the draw was Barrow Raiders against Workington Town, Bradford Bulls versus Lee Centurions. I called that to Anna before the draw came out. And I knew who we weren't getting. Whitehaven versus York, Batley versus Featherstone, and North Wales Crusaders play Sheffield. Sheffield definitely having the easiest draw that's possible so far. So there you go.
So yeah, we're left with no sides other than North Wales, aren't we, from League One?
Yeah.
But maybe that's a draw that they might fancy against Sheffield. You never know. Sheffield are a bit inconsistent, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, the North Wales are playing very well, but it's going to be a difficult one, that one.
There were some other games. It was the NRL trials continued at the weekend, and back from no demand is our good friend NRL Review, who try and crack the code in this one if you can, kids. NRL Review, talking about the trials, said, "Who really cares, right? Limey machine beat up some birds. The pussy slid past the cocks in moist conditions, and that was about all anyone cared about on Friday night." There you go.
Yeah.
He's back.
He is back.
The NRL's back in a couple of weeks' time, so we'll bring you those results in without much fanfare in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, that's it for other results. We're gonna now make our guesses for round 4 of Super League. There's some championship bits and pieces to cover as well. Predictions time for round 4 of Super League. Another weekend where sadly there's only 2 Sky games, but I'm sure we'll get through with loads of your fan reviews on all of the other games as well. The first game to talk about is Thursday, 8 PM kickoff on Sky. Wakefield versus Leeds. We know the squads for this. There's no centres in the squad for Wakefield, and they're slightly thin on wingers as well. No first choice hooker for them, but Mason Leno's back in contention after playing for the reserves in a big win against Hull Cars Reserve at the weekend. And then, as far as Leeds are concerned, Harry Newman's back in the squad, plus Fusser Tua and Reece Martin are back in contention as well, after their breaks for different reasons lately. So Leeds potentially stronger, Wakefield potentially weaker. Where are you going with this one, Alan?
Leeds' easiest game of the year so far. As I said, I think Leeds have been broadly unlucky so far. Leeds quite comfortably, Leeds by 14.
Okay. I think it's their easiest game so far, but not necessarily an easy game. I do think the players that can come back in for Leeds will make a difference in terms of point scoring ability, with the goal kicker and what you'd expect to be a couple of their top try scorers available again here. Leeds by 8. I've gone for. Friday, 8 PM on Sky, Warrington versus Catalans. Catalans, as well as missing all of their prop forwards, will be missing Michael McAlorum as well in this game. And I think that's, crucial when you take out your front row. No matter how decent a squad you've got and a spirit you've got and that sort of stuff, there's still a certain amount of replacing players that becomes harder and harder. And I think Warrington will win by, I'd say 10. Warrington by 10, because they're still not super convincing yet, but they should be better than this Catalans lineup that'll turn up. I don't even know if Tom Tompkins will be fit, because he went off course injured, didn't he, against Leeds? So we'll see.
Yeah, I can't see anything but Warrington winning this. Warrington by 10.
Okie dokes. Friday at 8 p.m. Not the Sky game, this one obviously, but interesting game. Hull KR versus St Helens. Hull KR are a side that have given Saints some challenges in